I'm unfamiliar with the work of Ken Klippenstein. I wonder if he's from
The
what
tunnels.
the but it seems like he's a good scooper. Like he had this guy's writings, and now he's got his Telegram messages. So this is the guy, Elias Rodriguez, who thought he was freeing Palestine the other day in DC by extinguishing the lives of two completely innocent people that had nothing to do with it. I did a little digging myself, a little investigative reporting, if you could call it that. And there is some organization that he is tied with. First of all, we've got his text messages, but there's also an organization that is, raising money for him, and putting money on his books in prison, which is like giving him money for commissary. And it is saying that his actions were justified. And this is a website located right here in the United States. One of the things that I thought was interesting was he did not have a problem, apparently, with Jews. In fact, he's written that he thought one of the biggest things that Stalin didn't do wrong was ending the most anti-Semitic regime ever known to man. He had nowhere in his thousands of text messages did he ever negatively refer to Jews in any way, shape, or form. Now, Israel, yes, Israel government. He did, however, say, lol, you would probably have to extinguish white people to make this a normal country. Like, even a very targeted and selective rehabilitation program would probably lead to the lifetime imprisonments of tens of millions of white people. They're also raising money for him. Where did I have that? I had this here. I mean, what do you make? I mean, obviously, I'm not denying that he had a problem with Israel. No one is. But he's also, is he anti-Semitic then? If he doesn't have a problem with Jews, it seems like he's holding two. I mean, I guess he's holding a fair position. Like he doesn't have any problem with Jewish people. He doesn't like what the Israeli government's doing. But him and his ilk calling this all justified is a little concerning. For these people are all, by the way, in America. Where is this? I thought I had.
It is interesting to see a lot of his like anti-white rhetoric, because like
nobody's covering
really,
that.
Yeah, no one's talking about that, and that should be a major issue as well.
Yeah,
since a lot of people are kind of thought that that's okay. It's okay to hate whitey. It's okay to discriminate against them. White people are inherently racist, and you can never be racist to white people because of their quote privilege. That type of insanity is what looks like this guy kind of believed in as well. And I think that is something that, of course, is openly taught at these like top universities. I also find it weird, as the New York Post reported, that the dad of this suspect was also invited to Trump's address by a left-wing Democrat.
Yeah,
which is just a little strange here. I think he was trying to be like a Luigi Mangione type of character, and that's why this case was as strange and as wild as it is right now. And it just shows you just how radicalized a lot of people on the left are, and just how normalized a lot of their racist, discriminatory policies are, to the point where they say this stuff and everyone's okay with it. No one bats an eye. It's like, oh yeah, screw Whitey evil, Whitey bad. And I'm like, wait, hold on. If you said that about any other race or group of people, you would be frontline national news. Right. Well, but you say that, and then you get like support by all these crazy lunatics out there that are like, yeah, screw Whitey, which is insane.
What do you make of this, Hannah Claire? I found this on your bookmarks on your computer. You have this site, unityoffields.net. Well, I mean, you're not exactly tech savvy, Hannah Claire. I didn't have to really. Yeah. Don't set your passwords to 1234 in the future.
Don't tell everyone.
Yeah. So this website, Free Elias Rodriguez, build the international popular cradle of the resistance. The first sentence. So first of all, they're like, here's his inmate number. where to send money to put money on his books. They also tell people, remember, all incoming mail will be searched, and pre-trial mail can be used as evidence in court. So don't say anything incriminating or talk about the alleged crime. The first sentence this website writes about him, by the way, American website, American agency or organization, Elias Rodriguez's targeted attack on 2 Israeli diplomat staff on May 21st, 2025 was a legitimate act of resistance against the Zionist state and its genocidal campaign in Gaza. Why did you write this, Hannah Claire?
Disavow strongly.
This is the left. They're like, yep, it was justified. 2 innocent people walking out of a library. Like, what?
One, and they're treating him like he is potentially going to be the first of many, right? The cradle of whatever they're excited about. It's very weird.
That's a good catch. I didn't pick up on that.
I mean, to me, that's what they're saying. Like, we will make a hero of him. And in fact, we are all going to rally around and support him. The subtext to me is like, and we would for anybody else who takes similar actions, which we expect, which that's creepy and probably something to watch out for. I think there is this desire for violence among radical progressives that no one who is closer to them, who could have some sort of influence over them, is willing to confront, right? Like, if the right says the radical progressives are violent, you write them off because they're on the other side of the political spectrum and they do bad things. But if you had like a moderate Democrat or even like an AOC come out and condemn the violence, to take it seriously, to acknowledge that this is becoming a more intense problem, and that there is a desire for lone actors to make these type of fatal political statements, they wouldn't do it. They couldn't acknowledge it at all. That would be to acknowledge that their movement has extremists in it. I think the question of like, is he like anti-Semitic? Ultimately, he's going to be remembered as an anti-Semitic person. I'll be curious to see if there are hate crime charges attached to this. But there is a subjectivity, like someone who wants to only see that he took the lives of Jewish people, then they will only see it as anti-Semitic. If anyone wants to read over his writing or his text messages, they might find something else, but we won't reach the mainstream. It reminds me of like when the ADL, they did an extremist study on extremism in America, and this was, I think, 2016. It was definitely like released pre-pandemic, and they said that Nicholas Cruz, the Parkland attacker, he counted as anti-Semitic because there was a rumor that at one time he had drawn a swastika on a desk or something. Right. Which is like, no, he was clearly not motivated. That was not part of his motivation. His motivations were not good, and there are all kinds of complications with that case. But like that wasn't one of them. You can't just claim it as an attack against this group of people.
Well, the more you look into this guy, he's just a nut job too.
Yeah, but like, they're going to make him a hero, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, you mentioned like, hey, there's nobody on the left who's basically willing to say like, don't do that. It's kind of like, remember when like Luke's buddy, that Ray Epps guy, when he was like, let's go into the Capitol, blah, blah. And then all those people around him were like, don't do that. And they started calling him a Fed. Remember that video?
They were literally like, Fed.
Yeah. like you don't see that on the left. You don't see people on the left saying like, don't do this. They cheer it on.
Yeah. They're like, yeah, this Luigi guy. Yeah, this other guy. I'm like, this is kind of crazy and wild to see how far gone some people are politically. It's kind of sad too, because once you start to like dehumanize people, and this was the kind of dangers that I saw many years ago.
Hitler used to dehumanize people, Luke.
Yeah, they're like, this is like a dehumanist agenda against, let's be honest, and no one talks about this, predominantly white people.
Yep.
Right? This is the dehumanist agenda to undermine, to always make white people the scapegoat, the problem, the issue, the real evils of this world. And this is the type of ideology that this guy had in his mind, that he was propagated, that he was pushed on by the CNNs of the world, by the Harvards of the world, by all the mainline institutions that think it's okay to promote a lot of this kind of insanity and bigotry. So
remember when you were talking about like a white genocide, and the media said you were a crazy conspiracy theorist, like
in South Africa or in Zimbabwe.
No, but I mean, like, people on the far right have kind of been talking about this, like the white
Long
replacement stuff, all this kind of stuff. People like Hannah Claire and Luke, and like,
Whoa.
but like, this guy is literally saying, "Lol, you would probably have to genocide white people." Like, and the media's like, "What are you talking about? Nobody talks like this." It's like, yes, they do, and they're your voters. Like,
and there's no voices de-radicalizing these individuals. There's only voices saying, yes, Kang, yes,
right,
Queen.
Slate, yeah, right.
Yeah, like, keep going.
Or they defend it. They're like, well, white people have, historically had positions of power and they oppress people. And, you have to understand that they've been through suffering and that their life, like, there's no like, yeah, you're right. That's bad. This is getting out of hand. You guys are promoting violence. This rhetoric is developing in a direction we don't want it to. It's always a defense of the people who do these things.
Right. Exactly. And it's what is it? They accuse you of what they
do themselves.
Right. It's like, oh no, for years you shut us down by saying nobody's talking like this, and you called us like, bad guys from World War II and all this stuff if we talked about it. But no, they are talking about it. They are talking about it, and they're talking about it wide out in the open. Right out in the open. Go ahead.
And the people who say stuff like this are expecting their cohort to support them and applaud them. I mean, like, these text messages, this guy is saying this to someone as if it's like, oh, a good intellectual point. See how well I have thought this out, as if he's expecting praise. That's creepy. That's weird.
Yeah, exactly. I don't
being shared around of this guy allegedly speaking at a protest in 2018, but it looks sort of like AI. It's so hard now to decipher.
It could be Potato Phone 2018. That's a little. Yeah.
No, I mean, unless you have a high grade camera. I just sent the clip in the private chat, but I don't know. Something just says.
Oh yeah, it does. It does have that look. Hold on a second.
It has that AI glossy look.
Yeah. Hold on. It's always good to be
skeptical.
Be skeptical of these kind of videos. Yeah.
You can't trust anything on the internet anymore, and I think we're gonna, in a few weeks from now, totally have absolute online chaos of disinformation.
The next election is going to be crazy. Yeah.
Where we won't know what is what.
Here's the video.
I feel like if we can keep Amazon out, that is a huge victory, and it demonstrates sort of the power of people coming together and being able to say no to things like.
Yeah, it looks okay. I think the focus makes it look AI. They have him in the foreground, but I mean, he was protesting against Amazon. And to make this good of an AI video, you'd have to have some real high quality images of him.
This guy is just looking to be against things. That's what I'm sort of seeing. He's joining whatever cause is cool at the moment.
Right, because he's got no self identity.
Right.
Which goes into the dehumanization stuff and the turning all these high schoolers now into like rabidly politically obsessed.